Hey guys, and welcome to the next tutorial for ethical hacking. In this tutorial we will be talking about the basic necessary tools that a hacker needs to keep along with him every now and then. So as with any other project, if you don't have the right tools for ethical hacking, accomplishing the task effectively will be difficult. Having said that, just because you use the right tools does not mean that you will discover all the vulnerabilities. Knowing the personal and technical limitations are important. Many security assessment tools generate false positives and negatives, incorrectly identifying the vulnerabilities. So others may even miss these vulnerabilities. So if you are performing tests such as social engineering or let's say physical security assessment, you may miss these weaknesses. Many tools focus on only specific tests, but there is no one tool that can test each and every other thing except Kali Linux, which is obviously an operating system which has most of the things but not everything. However, for the same reason that you wouldn't drive let's say a nail with a screwdriver, you should not use a word processor to scan your network for open ports. Yes, that's how it is. This is why you need to use a specific set of tools that you can call on for the task at hand. The more tools you have, the easier your ethical hacking efforts will be. Make sure that you are using the right tool for the task. To crack passwords, you need a tool such as, let's say, John the Ripper or Cain and Abel or PWDump. A general port scanner such as Superscan may not crack passwords. For in-depth analysis of web application, a web application assessment tool, let's say such as a Whisker or a Web Inspect, is more appropriate than just a network analyzer such as Ethereal. When selecting the right security tool for your task, you may need to ask around in, let's say, a relay chat or other hacker group where you have been or where you have learned all of these things. Get advice from your colleagues or from other people online, or a simple group such as on Google or your, let's say, security portal such as securityfocus.com or searchsecurity.com or itsecurity.com. There are often other tools or other security experts that can help you out or give you a great amount of feedback. Hundreds, if not thousands, of tools can be used for ethical hacking. Form your own words and actions to software-based vulnerabilities, programs, to hardware-based network analyzers, and many more. I have a few tools in mind that would be the most essential and common tools, and some of these are actually my favorite commercial, some are freeware, and some are open source security tools. Just feel free to go ahead and download them. I would, however, be using these tools in my following tutorials, so just make sure that you have all of these tools before I proceed. The first thing would be Nmap. It is the most essential tool, which is network mapping tool. So I'll just go ahead and show you how it is. Nmap. So this is the network mapper. You can just go ahead and download it from over here. As for the timing, I'll just go ahead and download this specific for this Windows version. You can, however, also download the, if you have a Linux, it is probably inbuilt in your system. So I'll just go to the download page and I'll download it. And let's see, Windows executable, and over here it is. I'll just download this specific file. It's probably a 17.8 MB file, so I'll just keep this downloading, and yeah, perfect, not an issue. So the next thing that we would need with us would be Etherpeak. Most of this tool would be non-existent by the time you read this tutorial probably, so it would be better as of these tools may have been renamed by the time you read this tutorial. So I would probably be using Kali Linux because that is a better part of it. I would be teaching you these tutorials. So the next thing would be Superscan and Qualys Guard, Web Inspect, and LC4, which is actually previously known as PHT crack, and as of now it is known as OPH crack. This is actually very famous. And then the next thing that we have would be the LANguard network security scanner, would be LANguard network security scanner, and then network stumbler, then ToneLock. And however, under the set of tools that I don't actually carry with me, but these are something that would be essential for you. So it would be Internet Scanner, Ethereal, Nessus, Nikto, Kismet, and THC scan. So I actually will discuss this through in my next tutorials when I go into specific hack attacks. So but these are this is how the appendix looks like, and the capabilities of many security and hacking tools are often misunderstood, and this misunderstanding has shed negative light on some essential tools, such as, let's say, a Satan, which is actually security administrator tool for analyzing networks, and Nmap, which is a network mapper. So some of these tools are actually complex, and whichever tools you use, familiarize yourself from A to Z with them before you start using them. So a few ways to do would be to actually go ahead and read the documentation. You can, however, go ahead and see the usage instructions over here for Nmap. They also have something called a Zenmap, which is the graphical user interface. So these are different things that you could go ahead and check over here. Similarly, you can have the documentation files, the readme files, and the user's guide for these kind of commercial tools. And just study the user's guide before you use the commercial tools. Consider formal classroom training from the security tool vendor or another third-party training vendor if possible, or if available at least. Look for the characteristic in tools for ethical hacking before you actually buy something, such as adequate documentation, detailed reports on discovered vulnerabilities including how they may be exploited and fixed, updates and supports when needed, and high-level reports that can be presented to managers on non-techie types. So these features can save you time and effort when you're writing the report. The next thing would be to executing these plans. Ethical hacking can take persistence. Time and patience are most important when you actually go into this. Be careful when you're actually performing your ethical hacking test. A hacker in your network or a seemingly benign employee looking over your shoulder may know what's going on. So this person could use this information against you. It's not practical to make sure that no hackers are there on your system before you start. So just make sure that you keep everything as quiet and private as possible when you're actually doing some stuff. This is especially critical when you're transmitting and storing your test result. If possible, encrypt these emails and files using PGP, that's pretty good privacy, or something familiar. At a minimum, password protect them. You are now on the reconnaissance mission. So harness as much information as possible with your organization and your systems, which is actually what malicious hackers do. Start with a broad view and narrow your view, or focus to something specific. Search the internet for your organization's name, your computer, and network systems and your IP addresses. There is a famous search engine to gather information about that is known as Shodan. It can actually go ahead and give you much information about let's say, for example, it is similar to Google, but the thing is that Google gives you information about people and a lot of other stuff, whereas Shodan gives you information about the network security of specific, let's say, specific organizations. So it can give you much information about let's say, any organization's specific network connected devices. So Google is a great place, whereas Shodan is awesome. Narrow your search or your scope, targeting the specific systems you're targeting, whether physical security structures or web applications. A casual assessment can turn up much information about your system. Further, narrow your focus with a more critical eye. Perform actual scans and other detailed tests on your system. Perform the attacks if that's what you choose to do. And finally, it would be evaluating these results. Assess your results to see what you uncovered, assuming that vulnerabilities have been made obnoxious before. This is where the knowledge counts. Evaluating these results, correlating the specific vulnerabilities discovered is a skill that gets better with experience. You'll end up knowing your systems as well as anyone else, and this makes the evaluation process much simpler moving forward. So the next thing that you need to do would be submit a formal report to the upper management on your computer, outlining your results, and keep these parties in loop to show that your efforts and money are actually well spent. When you are finished with ethical hacking test, you still need to implement your analysis and recommendations to make sure that the systems are and they will stay secure in the near future. New security vulnerabilities will actually appear on a continuous basis, and information systems constantly change and become more complex. New hacker exploits and security vulnerabilities are regularly uncovered, so you may discover new ones, and security tests are just a snapshot of the security posture of your systems. At any time, everything can simply change, especially after software upgrades and adding your computer systems or applying patches, which can actually lead to more vulnerabilities to be discovered. Plan to test regularly for example once a week or once a month and so on. But as of now, I think that would be it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, I will be starting with actual hacking and showing you what basics of hacking are. Enough for the basic ethical hacking talk. Let's see what hacking is actually.